Hello YouTube, it's Stompingforrmula. Today we're going to go over the easiest ways for new characters to gear up a little bit. First thing we're going to go over is crafted gear. With Legion coming into the picture, a lot of the way crafted gear was made prior is very similar to the way it was made. Last time I had a hard crafting profession was I think in WoD. So your crafted gear can be upgraded in this expansion from I think 815 is the lowest rank on it. So most of the crafted gear, since we're so far into the expansion, is a lot cheaper now than it was at launch. Obliterum, there's a lot more of it available, so that makes that part of getting crafted gear a little bit easier. Now, if you have your own crafting profession, you can craft your own 815 pieces of gear, and you can take them to your Obliterum Forge if you have done your quest Forged in Felfire. Right now on live, crafted gear can be leveled all the way up to 855, which is really good. If you have 5 or 6 pieces of gear, then 855 is at 855. That's not bad. That could probably carry you into Mythic dungeons, no issues there. Now, in the next patch, 7.1.5, you're going to be able to craft them up to 865. You get 2 more levels of Obliterum in there. Now, one of the great things about crafted gear that a lot of people seem to miss out on is you have a lot better of a chance of getting to min-max your gear with the secondaries that you would want. Now this is a double-edged sword here, because if you're trying to craft your own gear, it's going to be a lot harder for you to, or unless you're very lucky, to get that min-max gear. I recommend that if you're trying to min-max your character at these lower item levels, that definitely try to use the auction house, because the amount of materials that you use to craft the items may in fact cost more than it would cost to just buy the piece off the auction house and oblit it up. Now, there's a couple cons to this. One of the cons is you don't collect artifact power while you're getting your gear like you would in a dungeon or a raid. And it can be a little pricey, but it's also one of the more viable options. It's guaranteed. You're not going to go to the auction house and buy a piece of gear off of it that you like and it show up in your mailbox and be a different item, or a piece of plate if you're a leatherware. So that's something to keep in mind. It's a little bit better to expect the items, but they can be pricey. Another way, and a lot of people I guess look this over, but you can definitely get pretty high item level gear if you have order hall resources, which is easy to get now because all you have to do is go to the Bloods vendor. If you have enough order hall resources and you have some gold, you can buy your order hall set and forge them up to, I think 840 is the highest they go, but that's still pretty high considering it's higher than heroic gear levels and normal gear levels, and as well as time walking, which we're going to go over that next. Time walking and heroic are really great to get gear. You know, I think time walking and heroic both drop in between 815 and 825 gear. I could be wrong, and I have to go back and look. But there's something special about time walking gear that I've noticed, and a lot of my other guilds have noticed, is time walking gear usually has great secondaries on it. Like cloth will have crit mastery, crit haste, and it won't have shit like crit versatility or haste versatility, things that, you know, most cloth wearers aren't going to need or don't want. There was a trinket that dropped out of the last Cataclysm time walking. I can't remember the name of the dungeon, but it's got the crazy lady at the end of it that's throwing rocks at you and stuff. Well, she dropped a trinket that gave 1700 stamina and had a chance to proc once you fell below 50% health for 11,000 armor. Granted, Blizzard nerfed it in like a week after I got it. They nerfed it down to 1700 armor, but still, that's a lot of armor. 1700 armor on a passively equipped trinket is massive. The only thing that comes close to that is the trinket off Ursoc, and you have to push a button to get it to proc. So it's an active. So the good thing about time walking gear, like I said, there are some outstanding pieces of gear in there, and I think they have the possibility of Warforging and Titan Forging up. I think I've gotten an 835 out of a time walking before. Another good thing about time walking and heroics is higher item level players will be doing time walking dungeons probably all week. So these higher item level people are, they can possibly carry you through with no issues. They're not going to kick you out because you don't have the 900 item level that they have. These guys go to these time walking dungeons out of nostalgia. Like, a lot of people enjoyed the Cataclysm. I personally enjoyed the BC a lot, and the Wrath. And in the heroics, everybody's going to, but everybody should be doing the heroics because it gives you a daily AP bonus, and it is huge. For me, right now, doing the daily heroic gives me 40,000 artifact power. So keep that in mind. At least one heroic a day from higher item level people is going to happen. Now, there's a couple of bad things about this. You will run into people that have no idea how the time walking dungeons are supposed to be ran because they didn't play during that expansion. Or you're going to run into people that don't know how to play their class very well. So you have that issue, and then you also have, if you're playing a DPS, you may have to deal with longer queue times whenever you're trying to get these things done, trying to gear up. It's also harder to min-max your gear in these dungeons than it would be if you were trying to craft it or buy crafted gear. But remember, as I said before, with the crafted gear, that can get really pricey really fast. And as I said before, I think you can get Warforged out of time walking. I know that you can get Titan Forged out of heroics. Last week in Heroic Violet Hold, we had a guy get a set of 880 pants off the last boss in there. This is supposed to normally drop like 815 or 825 gear. Well, that's all I have for this, guys. If you have any questions about any way to get gear that you want answered, leave them down in the comments below. Or you can come over to Twitch and follow me at twitch.tv/Stompingforrmula. I'll put a link down in the description. If you would like to follow me on Twitch, I stream 7 days a week from 8 p.m. Eastern to 11:30 p.m. Eastern, and then Monday through Friday I stream from 10 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. Well, guys, I really appreciate it. I hope you got some useful information out of this. And just so you know, they're adding more crafting recipes for gear in the next patch, so we could be seeing a lot higher item level gear, but keep in mind that it's probably going to be very expensive whenever the patch launches. Alright guys, have a nice one. See you later.